How do you choose a camp spot in the backcountry? What's up, backpackers? I'm Dan, and welcome to Backpacking Adventures, where we talk about backpacking, hiking, and gear. If you're new to this channel and those interest you, consider subscribing, but make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss a thing. Choosing a good campsite is important. It would allow you to have a better night's sleep, as well as an overall better camping experience. But before you go on any trip, make sure you learn the rules and regulation of the area you're going to be camping in. There may be rules on where you must camp or whether you can even build a fire or not, things like that. When you are looking for a place to camp, you want to make sure you try to find a pre-established campsite. These are campsites that are flat and usually already cleared of any debris. There's usually already fire rings, and if you're lucky, maybe there's some logs there that you can sit on. This will make your setup faster and easier and have less impact on the environment. If there aren't any predefined campsites, you can just do something called stealth camping. Now, stealth camping is not something that's bad or even illegal. It just means that after you leave, no one even knew you were there. Stealth camping is nothing more than just camping in a spot that is not a pre-established campsite. In most places, this is not prohibited, but again, make sure you know the rules and regulations of the area. But if you do stealth camp, make sure you try to keep the campsite very small. If you make a fire ring and a fire, just make sure when you're done, you disassemble the fire ring and spread the ashes around. If you do leave a trace, especially a fire ring, campers that come in after you may see this site and assume it's a predefined campsite. Whether you're camping at a pre-established campsite or if you're stealth camping, you always want to make sure you follow the 7 leave no trace principles. I have a video on my beginner backpacking series where I talk about the 7 leave no trace principles. I'll put a link up top. Finding a suitable campsite can be different if you're a hammock camper as opposed to a tent camper. Campsites are less restrictive for hammocks. Basically, all you need is just 2 trees to hang in. The first thing you want to do is find a spot that is about 200 feet from the trail or a water source that is relatively flat and clear of debris. And if there's trees around, one important thing you need to do is look up. You need to look for dead trees or dead limbs that are hanging above you. These are called widowmakers, and for a good reason. These are trees or branches that can fall on you when you're sleeping because of wind or even if they're just rotted too much. So make sure there's no widowmakers around you or above you. If you're camping next to a side of a mountain or a cliff that is very steep or high above you, you want to make sure there's no rocks that are going to fall. Same thing as looking for a widowmaker. If you're a hammock camper, you obviously know to look for 2 trees that are spaced correctly apart. You don't have to worry so much about the ground underneath being flat or free of debris. Tent campers, you're going to want to try to find flat ground. If there are rocks and twigs, you want to clear them away. You also want to make sure the ground is soft and porous. This is important when it rains so that the water will seep into the ground as opposed to seeping under your tent. Make sure you're not at the lowest point of the campsite because you want to avoid water running down under your tent. If possible, you want to find a location that is not at the bottom of a valley or a gorge or some low-lying area. This is because cool air and moisture sinks. Try to move up a little bit so you can avoid the cool air. However, you don't want to camp at the top of a ridge or a wide open space due to the potential for high winds. Let me know if you have any other tips for choosing a campsite in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, see you next time, and go explore.